Next, yes, we'll move into this idea of organizing what you've got. So we all know that if your systems are everywhere, that means they're nowhere. And it doesn't do anyone any good if your system is trapped on Jenny's computer or Sally's computer or Bob has a printout or it's trapped in your head. You've got to have it centrally located. So don't get too hung up on the software as long as you have something in place. I know many people are using systemHUB that are attending today. There's a lot of BSA members as well, so you're sorted. But the rules of thumb are just make sure that it's centrally located so you can access it no matter wherever you are. It's easy to access, as in you don't require a huge amount of onboarding to learn how the platform works. Anybody can edit those systems and you can attach everything to do with that system in a central location. So any additional attachments or extra resources or videos, you want to be able to attach it to the same document. And don't chase features when it comes to SOP software. You want to keep it simple. It's much better to have a simple knife that cuts and does the job really, really well than looking for a Swiss Army knife that has all of these bells and whistles and corkscrews and toothpicks and things like that you never end up using, because that just introduces complexity, which then makes it harder for people to onboard, which then lowers adoption. So you're much better off to keep things as simple as possible. I cover this in the Systemology book, so I don't think we need to go into it too much. My only bit of advice is that you don't mix your SOP management and project management software. I've talked about this at great length. There's a few YouTube videos about it, but I've seen companies that have done both, and keeping them separate, like, it makes it easier as you start to scale, as you're introducing new software and as things are changing inside your organization, and as you're growing the business, to keep them separate. And I think, and I'll talk a little bit more about how it makes such a difference, but it sends a really clear signal to your team that systems and processes are important and they're a valuable asset, and they're so important that we house all of them in this central location. SOP management software is just about having your documented processes and policies and trainings in a central location, and that's different from project management that handles who does what by when. Now, you can use things like Asana or ClickUp or Monday. There's plenty of project management platforms out there. Sometimes even in certain industries, there are specific jobs management platforms. But it really doesn't matter as long as you've got something in place and then you kind of keep it separate. In a lot of the examples we're going to cover today, I'm going to use systemHUB as our SOP management software, and we'll use Asana as our project management software. I think, no matter what software you're using, though, the principles that I'll show you here will apply just the same. The real trick is just to make those systems as obvious as possible and as easily linked to as possible whenever they're needed. So whenever a task is assigned, you want to have a link to that system or process. Now, that might be a direct link to a system, or it might be a QR code if it's out in the field, but you want to put it in your project management software, put it in your calendar invites, print out those QR codes and stick them on the actual equipment. If you're using Slack and internal communication, put the links inside the descriptions, like put those links everywhere. I think the idea here is that you never want to be more than one click away from the point at which you're getting assigned the task or doing the task. You just want to make that super, super easy to reduce that friction. So we'll start a little bit with SOP management software and picking that central location and sending that very clear message to the team that, hey, systems and processes are important to us, and this is where all of our knowledge lives. Then for your systems champion, again, a lot of what I'm walking through now are tasks for them. Your first job is to learn the basics of the software. You want to get your head around the platform, get comfortable with the layout, understand how you can load systems and make sure that that's simple, know how to add a user and edit users and log in as those users to see what that looks like. You want to make sure that you customize the platform and make it your own, load colors and logos and things like that, just so team members go, I'm in the right place and this feels like it's our home. There's a lot of tutorials, like any software, systemHUB. We have tutorials that kind of walk you through that. I don't think it's a good use of our time to run through that stuff at the moment. One of the key things, though, is to get your folder structure correct. The best way that we've found to do that is by organizing via departments. That way, all of your HR systems are together, all of your marketing systems are together, and you can also use that same structure throughout many of your different software choices. So in your project management software, you can have a department for marketing. Inside your Office suite, maybe it's Google Drive or it's Office 365, and you've got folders where you want to store things, you use the same folder structure. Because then you start to teach the team, when I'm looking for something, I've got a shot at knowing where I'll find it. Like, I'm in marketing and I'm looking for this particular process. Well, okay, it's process. I know it's going to be in systemHUB. Or, hey, I'm in marketing and I'm looking for this particular spreadsheet to do with the client. Well, I know it's going to be in that marketing folder, or maybe operations folder if it's to do with a specific client. But again, you're training the team to think in terms of departments. So that first little step here is starting to get your own software correctly set up. Before you start importing and getting going on that, it's a good idea to identify some gold standards. Here's a link to the system for creating systems, which you might be familiar with, or you might have got some inspiration from some of the systems as you've been meeting with team members and you've been moving things into your dumping ground. You just want to spot about 3 to 5 gold standard systems as a systems champion, because then that helps you as you start to import to make sort of minor adjustments and modifications when we're getting things into the software. So find those gold standards. If you're a Business Systems Accelerator member, there's 100 or so expert templates from the Business Systems Summit that you can leverage there. It doesn't really matter though, as long as you've got something that you class as the gold standard. And then next, we need to start to think about importing that into the software. So I've got a link here to some prompts, and we'll do a quick little example that I can kind of walk you through here. I hope you enjoyed that clip. Just a heads up, it was a snippet taken from the Business Systems Accelerator program, which is the world's first training for systems champions to help you build a systems-driven organization. If you'd like to find out more about the program, head over to systemology.com/BSA, and I'll see you in the next video.